Thanks a lot for staying with us here on Sunrise Live on E. Now, in South Africa, it's been said that countless of school children have fallen prey or victim to bullying, harassment, as well as abuse in schools. So it is a phenomenon that has the potential to impact on children physically and psychologically. So joining us in studio this morning, really to elaborate more on the matter, as well as how then do we step in as members of the community, as parents, as caregivers. I'm joined by the Commissioner for the Commission of Gender Equality, Mbuyiselo Botha. Now, remember to be part of this conversation, all you need to do is give us a call on 011 447 1742 2570. Alternatively, that's if you've got a problem, an issue with bullying, if you've been bullied, or if you're a parent that is concerned that your child is being bullied. Let us get your help this morning. Alternatively, you'll also leave your comments on our Facebook as well as on our Twitter pages. Mbuyiselo, always a pleasure to have you join us. Welcome back.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Now, it's a very interesting phenomenon that is currently taking place now, especially we're talking a little bit off air about how bullying is almost transitioned from it being physical to it being psychological and emotional through the introduction of the internet as well as social media. But these statistics that are showing that about 2,000 students, for example, get bullied per annum in schools. How then do we start curbing it? Where are we getting it wrong? I mean, it's not a new phenomenon, bullying, but what are we getting it wrong here?
Well, we're getting it wrong because society generally, Faith, has not been able to see violence as an intricate part of that society. So we should not forget that, I mean, when you talk about bullying in schools, I mean, it is in fact kids, they mirror what you and I do. In society, in a larger. So one has got to always be reminded that what we see kids doing both at high school, at primary, at varsity. I mean, with varsity has just reopened. I mean, they in fact are. It's a set indictment on all of us that they represent what we do. In society. At a large,
So in other words, the bully, when we're looking at the bully,
yeah.
The bully is in often cases mirroring what's happening either in their home or in their immediate surroundings.
Absolutely, because Faith, it's like, you then take it, look, we have phenomenon such as, this is how boys behave. Boys will always be
boys. Are rough.
Absolutely, and then they play rough. So you are, somehow justifying, you are somehow rationalizing, you are explaining to say, but you see, don't worry. And we forget that we grow up, what is wrong is normalized. What is abnormal, it then become part of who we are. It becomes part of the fiber of this society.
Yeah.
Because more often than not, the physical bullying comes from boys. Why? Because society has permitted, it has allowed them, it has made them to feel that, look, for you to be affirmed, to feel okay, that you're a good boy, these things you must do. If you fail to do them, then you are not part of the mainstream.
You're a sissy. Okay, but now I'm going to ask you from another perspective now, because, have you seen these videos that have gone viral with girls being bullied in school? I know that we speak about the boy child, but on the flip side, the violence. And I'm going to mention just two clips that I bared witness to. One was of a girl, 3 girls that were in school uniform sitting, I think it was in the dormitory, etc. And 2 of the girls were slapping one of the girls around, and the other girl was taking a photo. So there's 4 girls. So the 4th girl was taking video clips of this phenomena that was happening. I mean, it was violent. Another one was at a school where these girls, 3 girls, were beating up one girl because I think somehow you are with my boyfriend or you
not
stole
wearing
my boyfriend or something but the violence, the level of we speak about the boy child, but the level of violence that these girls were conducting in terms of beating up this girl and filming it for it to go viral. How do we explain that phenomenon amongst the girl children now?
The sad part is that they would also do it because the narrative is that girls would not be violent. So you would not even talk about it openly, publicly. So they would do it and get away literally with murder, because then society is geared towards that, girls don't behave this way. So they would do it in a way that it would also appear to them that, there would be no spotlight in the same way that they would be on boys.
Yeah.
But like I said to you off air, that what is even more disturbing with girls is it happens at the emotional, psychological, where a girl would even, there are instances where this girl would commit suicide or the boy would commit suicide because I would not want, the bullying would be like, your weight, your beauty or lack
on
of
Twitter
beauty.
and on Facebook and on Instagram, I'm telling you now, it is the phenomena is growing and it's psychological as you're talking. So then looking at the punishment, you guys, you're the Commission for Gender Equality. What's your role in ensuring that some of these acts are criminalized? Because it's almost been seen as though it's unethical, but it's not necessarily criminalized. How then do we move forward from this?
Well, how do we move forward is that, Faith, whilst it's important to report to police and to get the school governing bodies involved, but look at what the Commission does. And the beauty about having a Chapter 9 institution is that the Commission has, in all the 9 provinces, you have offices there with legal offices where, bullying would be regarded as your ordinary, normal GBV. It's a criminal act, Okay. But more importantly, Faith, is that we need to begin this process of education. That's why our unit, the public education, where you'd find that at each province you have dedicated, education of officers from the Commission for Gender Equality who'd go to schools. And that's why then collaboration between us and the Department of Basic Education, Higher Education, very critical, very important, so that we get invited free of charge, so that our our education officers, Faith, they do education, because it's all very easy to just criminalize. But
if you don't necessarily understand the root cause of it, then we're going to have a problem. I want to bring in Mark Haskins into this conversation because he's been taking in some comments coming in from Facebook in terms of how then do we start tackling bullying. He's not going to be bullying us this morning, but he's going to be giving us information. Careful.
We asked the question on Facebook. We said, what should the punishment be for children who bully others? And some of the comments are as follows. Vito saying they need to talk to why they are doing so and tell them about the outcome of bullying, that they'll have no future. Why? It's because he's basically saying if they do that, that's something that they'll take into their adulthood. And then Tira saying, I think the government must introduce a disciplinary committee which will be the only ones allowed to punish by using a stick to beat the stubborn pupil. So obviously he's going back to the corporal punishment system, saying that there should be a disciplinary committee. And then Mshiza saying that's a big problem because bullies have no ears to listen to the words when you warn them. So I think they must hear with their skin rather than the ear. The only punishment that will suit them is to beat them up to put them on track. So another one going there for corporal punishment.
This is the problem,
Is that a solution?
Look, violence begets violence. That's why as a society we need to be creative, innovative with our methods and education. Because look, Mark, Faith, you don't find a society that says because we have rape, you will rape you. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we need to find where an education, but also from home, so that it's easy to say just beating. And you, in fact, as I said earlier, violence begets violence. Do we want the society of one eye, where an eye for an eye, where you'd go around that this is a society that is, in fact, when you come to South Africa, you know that this is an extremely violent, when we are, in fact, a violent society.
Yeah.
Well, we got another comment in Manaka saying, I think bullying should be taken as a disease. It's a mental problem. So those bullies need to seek counseling. And then finally, I think Ryan Nokia saying a mandatory counseling program. If we curb bullying, discrimination, racism at a young age, we can uproot it from developing into adulthood and stem racism, homophobia, sexism, and weight shaming in society.
Sure.
So I think basically reiterating the point that if we stop it at a young age, it won't go on later into society. And those are just some of the thoughts that come through on Facebook.
Oh, thank you very much, Mark. And I want to touch on one of the comments as we close this conversation. Mbuyiselo saying that we need to start seeing it as a disease in terms of being able to solve it going forward. And I mean, we speak even about cyberbullying and how is it that we've got trolls now on social media, etc. How then do we start effectively? Where would you say we effectively start as a parent, as a one that is being bullied, and as a society in general?
Well, at home, I mean, boys and girls we really need an education that says that it is not okay to even the toys we buy our kids.
Yeah.
I mean, and the language. I mean, how do they play? At that level. Look at our early childhood education. Faith, we have not invested in those institutions. I mean, look, there's a saying in Sesotho that's ikojwa ilimetsi. I mean, those are very important interventions. Other than when we intervene when the horse has bolted, it's important to say, I mean, parents, we have a duty, we have a role, not only to beat up, but also to talk, to engage. I mean, religious education, traditional education, so traditional institutions. So when Faith, it's a multifaceted type of a thing. So you need everybody to come to the party. But my boy must know that, look, it can be okay to play in a rough manner, because you grow up internalizing, thinking, Faith, that this is
okay. We said it's almost the one word that keeps alarming here is accountability on all fronts. But thank you so much for joining us this morning, really shedding some light on bullying, of course, and make sure that you get yourself some help and use the Commission for Gender Equality to do so. That, of course, is Mbuyiselo Botha from the Gender Equality Commission. We're going to take a quick break now. Do stay with us here on Sunrise. Mark Chase returns shortly after to give us the news in English. Stay with us.